Hello everybody, welcome to the next game in the Strat-O-Matic Demolition League. We are now starting series number 13. And each team has played 36 games. So look at the standings coming into this series 13 matchup. Cleveland holds a 3-game lead on Boston, 4-game lead on Houston and the Mets, and then Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Seattle, and then lowly San Francisco and Philadelphia. If you look at the standings, the top 4 teams will make the playoffs. Number 4 seed will play the top seed, and then number 2 and 3 play each other. So if the season ended right now, you would have Houston and the Mets in a tie for third and 4th place, and we'd go down to, we'd have to look at head-to-head meetings and figure out what the tiebreaker would be. And whoever won that tiebreaker would play Boston. Whoever lost the tiebreaker would play Cleveland, and the rest of the division would be out of it. So there's teams toward the bottom, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Arizona, and Seattle, trying to make a dent in these last 18 games. Still a lot of time to go, so definitely can make it up. So rather than do all the videos on the top 4 teams, while there's still some games left, I decided to go ahead and incorporate some different teams that may be trying to catch up. And 2 of those are Arizona and Seattle. And that's the game today to start Series 13. It is Seattle at Arizona at Chase Field. There will be no DH because of the fact that we're playing in the National League Park. So as we look at the starting lineups for both teams, you can see those here, benches and bullpens. And again, starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks will be Jeremy Hellickson. And getting his first start for Seattle is going to be Mike Montgomery, left-hander Mike Montgomery. All right, now let's look at injuries, because it's, after all, the Demolition League, and we're going to have injuries. Fortunately for Seattle, they have no injuries, but for Arizona, they have 3. Inciarte is going to be out 4 more games. Nick Ahmed is out 7 games. That they lose their right fielder and their shortstop for those amount of games, and reliever Josh Colementor is out 3 more games as well. So that means Peralta had to move from left field to right field, and Yosmani Tomas went from third base to left field, and Aaron Hill is playing third base. Interesting matchup here, though, is that you do have Mark Trumbo, who started the season with Arizona and was traded to Seattle. His first game back at Chase Field, and he's in the lineup playing first base to see if he can do something against his former mates. Jeremy Hellickson is your starter for Arizona. On the replay, he is 2-3 with a 2.89 ERA, 47 innings pitched, 40 hits, 8 walks, and 37 strikeouts. Of course, no stats for Montgomery because it's his first game. All right, let's transition now, because I've been playing so much inside pitch and payoff pitch with the 86 pennant race game of the week. Now I need to get my self refocused for Strat-O-Matic. And it's Jeremy Hellickson facing Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson will be leading things off. And before we get going, injuries for both starters are 6-12. They both have a 1 next to their name, so if we roll a 6-12, it's an injury check on either pitcher, no matter who's batting. Got our dice. It's Arizona colored dice, as best I could get it, red and black and white. And Austin Jackson hitting a meager 216 in 111 at bats. Seattle stuck with him in the leadoff spot, and they may have to make a move here because he's just not getting it done. He's a decent defender, but not getting it done. He's only stole 6 bases. No homers, 4 runs driven in with that 216 average. And week 13, or Series 13, whatever you want to call it. I guess Series 13 would be the best way to look at it. Series 13 is now underway. 1-6, and that's a strikeout, so Austin Jackson continues to struggle. And I do have the game up on the computer, obviously, so that we can get up to the minute statistics. All right, so hitting second for Seattle will be left fielder Seth Smith. And Smith on the replay, hitting .243, 3 homers, 10 runs driven in, and 107 at-bats. Hellickson to Smith, 3-3, and that's a ground ball to second for out number 2. He just missed a potential injury, so he is going to be retired. On the ground out to second baseman, Phil Gosselin, who's a new addition to Arizona, coming over from Atlanta. And they needed the help with Ahmed being out. They had to get an extra infielder in there, and he came over from Atlanta. All right, Robinson Cano, or Robbie Cano, as he's affectionately known in Seattle, will be hitting next, and he's actually carrying the team a little bit. .331 average. Only 1 home run, though, which is kind of unusual. On the season, he had 21 home runs, but so far he's only got 1, which is very, very strange. 142 at-bats, only 1 home run, but he is hitting .331. There are 2 outs now. 4-8, first time off Hellickson's card, and boy, Cano's going to take advantage. 1-7 is a triple. 8-20 is your double. That is a double for Robbie Cano. I don't have the little base running guys, but I do have the little logo thingies. So we'll put a runner at second base there, which is Robinson Cano. So a 2-out double for Robinson Cano. That brings up the cleanup hitter Nelson Cruz. And Nelly Cruz is hitting only .226. He's really struggled in that cleanup spot. 4 homers, 11 runs driven in. Cano, not the best base runner in the world, but he will be held on. He runs at a 13, so they don't want to give him an extra jump. They're going to hold him on. 5-6, and he struck him. Let's see, 5-6 actually is a fly to center field. I was looking at 6-5 instead of 5-6. Fly ball center field is going to end the inning. It's put away out there by Pollock. And the Mariners go quietly here in the first. Nothing doing for the Mariners. And we go to the bottom of the first. Seattle nothing, Arizona coming to bat. And Mike Montgomery will get his first start of his second start of the season. He is 0-1 with a 1.50 ERA in 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. I thought this was his first start, but I think he had one earlier in the season I must have forgot about. On the replay, he's going to get 5 starts because he had 16 in real life, so you want 1/3 of those. 4-6, 4.60 ERA for Mr. Montgomery, left-hander. All right, due up for the Arizona Diamondbacks is David Peralta. He's going to fill the leadoff spot while Inciarte is on the shelf. And Peralta's hitting .266, 5 homers, 16 driven in. Lefty on lefty matchup, 6-7. And that's bad news for Montgomery. 1-19 is a double. So a leadoff double for Peralta. And boy, first thing out of the chute, and Arizona has the leadoff man on second base with a leadoff double from Peralta. He, of course, will be held on. And shortstop Chris Owings, he's filling in for the injured Nick Ahmed. Owings is only hitting a .178, 2 homers, 9 driven in. 3-5 against the left. He's going to strike him out, so 1 down. So they're really missing Nick Ahmed. That'll bring up Goldschmidt. First base is open, but you got Pollock right behind him, so it'd be kind of tough to pitch, to intentionally walk him or really pitch around him. Goldschmidt's hitting .326, 8 homers, 22 driven in. 2-7, and he's going to strike him out. If that was a 2-6, I would have gotten through for a hit with that plus, but 2-7's a strikeout. So Montgomery comes back to strike out Goldschmidt. 2 down now. A.J. Pollock is up now. First base is open. They could intentionally walk him, and that's what they're going to do because he's hitting .356. 5 homers, 20 runs driven in, and they don't want Pollock to beat him, so they're going to intentionally walk Pollock. That seems like an easy decision on their part. And go after Yosmani Tomas. Let's see if he can make him pay for the intentional walk. Tomas hitting a respectable .253, only 1 home run and 9 runs driven in 87 at-bats. Montgomery, .212 against the lefty, and that's a ground ball to second. Super advanced, we would come down here for a split, but in advance, it's just a ground ball to second. The inning is over, and the intentional walk to Mr. Pollock seems to have paid off for the Mariners, and Montgomery gets out of the jam. So Montgomery pitches out of that mess. And at the end of one, no score from Chase Field or Chase Park. They call it Chase Park. I think it was called Chase Field back then, but not really the big a deal. All right, Kyle Seager will lead off against Hellickson. Seager on the replay is hitting 208, 5 homers and 20 driven in. So another struggling middle of the lineup for the Mariners. Just why they're struggling as a team. 3-3, that's going to be a leadoff walk, though. So Kyle Seager gets himself aboard with a leadoff walk. Not going to be held as a D-stealer, so no worries there. And now the former Diamondback, Mark Trumbo, coming back to his old haunts, his first game there. On the season replay, combined with both teams, he is hitting .250, 4 homers and 12 driven in. Hellickson 2-8, and he strikes out Trumbo. So he says, "Welcome back, Mr. Trumbo. Take your strikeout and go back to the bench." One away for Brad Miller. And Miller is hitting .271, 3 homers and 13 driven in. 5-4 lefty. 5-4 is a fly ball to right. 2 down. Put away out there by Peralta. So 2 down. Runner still at first for the lowly hitting catcher Mike Zunino. He's hitting a robust 107, a homer and 4 driven in. 6-3, and then, of course, as soon as I say it, he gets a single off, but it's off the pitcher card. And they will hold the runner at second base. No sense sending him to third because you got the pitcher coming up and you want to clear him out of the lineup so you don't have to have him leading off the next inning. Then you might get lucky and get a hit. Who knows? So pitcher hitting card number 1 is Montgomery. See what he can do here against Hellickson with 2 outs. It does go off Hellickson's card, 4-7, but it's a strikeout to end the inning. So he thought he had something going there when it came off the pitcher card, but I guess they knew who was batting, and he gets the strikeout on Montgomery to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the second, still no score. Montgomery back out. Will be facing the catcher, Wellington Castillo, followed by Aaron Hill and Phil Gosselin. So Castillo steps to the plate, and on the replay, limited duty, 54 at bats. He's hitting .278, 2 homers, 6 runs driven in. He came over from the Cubs. 2-6 against the lefty. It's going to be a ground ball right back to Montgomery. 1 down. Easy play there. And we go on to Aaron Hill, third baseman rather. And Hill hitting a lowly 164, homers, 2 driven in. 5-7 against a righty is a walk. So Aaron Hill draws the 1-out walk. And that'll bring up Phil Gosselin, came over from Atlanta. And I believe it's combined stats for Atlanta and Arizona both. He hit .311 and 106 at bats, so definitely no slouch, even though he is in the leadoff, or in the number 8 spot, rather. Aaron Hill, runner at first. B-stealer, so he will have to be held. Zanino's a -1 arm, though, so I don't think they're going to send him. That'll be a 1-9. Those are not good odds. So let's see what Gosselin can do against Montgomery. 3-5, and against a lefty, that's a 1-8 single. I'm sorry, that's 2-5. 3-5 is a hit by pitch. How about that? So it's maiden at bat with the Diamondbacks, and he gets plunked. So he takes one for the team. And that's going to bring up Hellickson, who has his own batting card. On the 2015 season, Hellickson hit .220. So not a bad hitter. Excellent bunter as an A bunter. But there's already 1 out, but you could bunt him over and try to get the runners in scoring position with 2 outs, because he really doesn't do much against lefties, and you got a chance of him getting hurt. So they're going to do the bunt. So he's an A bunter, becomes a B bunter, as the corners have come in for the Mariners, and we'll roll on the bunt chart. That's a 5 on a B. Whoops, let's go to the advanced bunt chart. 5 on a B bunter is batter thrown out by pitcher. So he bunts it right back to Montgomery successfully for out number 2. Sacrifice is done exactly as they wanted. Cano covers second to accept the throw for out number 2 since the first baseman Trumbo had to charge. So the out goes 1-4. Out number 2, and Peralta, the leadoff batter, is back out. See what he can do. Lefty on lefty against Montgomery. 2 down, 2 on. No score. Bottom of the second. 3-11, and that's a single to left field. So we know 1 run is going to score for sure. Gosselin, let's see, was he being held on? D. Steeler, he was not being held on, so he's a 13, becomes a 14 for not being held on. 2 outs makes him a 16. The base hit goes to left field. Left fielder arm, Seth Smith, is a +2, makes it an 18. So 1-18, they will score him. And I think they're going to, let's see, do they want to try it? Well, in super, just advanced, we're not going to have Peralta taking the extra base, so they can go ahead and try it. 1-18, and he threw him out. How about that? So how about that, Mr. Smith goes to Arizona and throws out a runner at the plate. How about that? A single, and the runner is going to be out, and that's going to end the inning. So Arizona gets 1. Thought they had 2 in the bag, but Seth Smith had other ideas. And we go to the top of the third, 2-1 Arizona. Crowd a little bit stunned by that, but Seth Smith, not a +2 arm, not known for the best arm in the world, but he unleashed one there that, sometimes a blind hog finds an acorn, as they say, or a blind squirrel finds an acorn, however you want to phrase it. Here's Austin Jackson back to the top of the order for the Mariners. 2-7. And that's a single for Austin Jackson. He will hit a leadoff single. He is a threat to steal as a B stealer. But Castillo is a -1 arm. And again, it'd be a 1-9, and they're not going to take that chance. Those just aren't good odds, 45%. They don't like those odds. So I think they're going to, with the heart of the order coming up, they're going to just play it as it is. Jackson, of course, will be held. Hellickson 110 to Smith. And that's a ground ball shortstop, but the plus sign, he was being held on. That's going to get through for a base hit, 2 stars. And that's going to put runners on the corners with nobody out. So the fact that he didn't go, open up that hole, and there you go. First and third, nobody out. Mariners are in business here in the third. Second time through seeing Hellickson may be the reason. Infield is at double play depth. Seth Smith not being held at first, but they will give up the out to get 2 runs. They will give up the run to get 2 outs, I should say. Got it backwards. Here's Robbie Cano, 2-8. Ground ball second base A with a plus sign, but he's not being held on, so therefore it is a 4-6-3 double play. It's going to wipe out the base runners. The run will score to tie the game at a run apiece. But Cano hits into the 4-6-3 double play, and that's the difference between runners being held and runners not being held. With that double play, it is going to go 4-6-3. So 2 outs. Bases are now clear for Nelson Cruz. Game tied at 1 here in the top of the third. 4-3, and that's a fly ball right field. First X check of the game, unusually. Peralta in right field is a 4. Peralta in right field. Let's see here. Let me get his card. Peralta is a 3 in right field. 3-15, I believe, is okay. Take a look. 3-15 is a fly C, which is good enough. So he makes the catch to end the inning. And we go to the bottom of the third with a 1-1 tie. Chris Owings will lead off for the Diamondbacks as they try to reclaim the lead they just lost. But really, with first, third, nobody out, to get away with 1 run is actually pretty good. 4-3, Montgomery against the righties, a fly ball right field excess. Nelson Cruz, he's not that bad of a fielder. He is a 4, though. But his error is not that bad. So if he gets an error check, it won't hurt him too much. It's a 4 and a 3, though. That's not going to get to an error check. That's going to be a base hit. 4 and a 3 is going to be a single. Would be 2 stars, but nobody's on base. So just a leadoff single there for Chris Owing. And back come the Diamondbacks. Here comes Paul Goldschmidt. Heart of the order coming up for the D-backs. So Montgomery could use a double play as well. Owens will be held. He's an A stealer, but he's not going to run because you got Goldschmidt and Pollock coming up. 5-5, and that's an in-home run chance on a 1-11. This will be gone. 12-20 is still a double. It's gone. Boom. Paul Goldschmidt, 2-run shot. And the Diamondbacks, talk about answering the Mariners with their run. They come back with 2 of their own on a 2-run homer from Paul Goldschmidt. And Arizona now leads it by the score of 3-1. Montgomery pitched a meatball, and it got turned into lasagna. Here's Pollock. 1-10 is a foul out to the catcher. So he fouls out to Zunino for out number 2. Actually, I'm sorry, out number 1, rather. I was getting ahead of myself. Here's Yosmani Tomas. 4-10, and that's a ground ball to third. Seager over to Trumbo. 2 down. Stadium still buzzing from that 2-run homer off the bat of A.J. Pollock. I'm sorry, Goldschmidt, rather. Montgomery, 3-4 to Castillo. It was a ground ball to third. He just missed an injury chance, so it's a ground ball to third to end the inning, but at least he didn't get injured. But the Diamondbacks reclaim the lead thanks to the 2-run home run from Paul Goldschmidt. And at the end of 3, it is Arizona 3, Seattle 1. Hellickson back out. Maybe see if he's a little bit pepped up from getting the run support. We'll have to wait and see. And leading off for the Mariners is Kyle Seager. 5-7, and that's a walk. Leadoff walk to Kyle Seager. Not what you want to do. You don't want to start walking guys when you got a 2-run lead. Don't want to give up free base runners. Seager will not be held on. He's a D stealer, so he will not be held. Trumbo, 6-4. It's a fly ball center field X. That is Pollock. He's a 1. And he makes the catch, out number 1. Easy play for Pollock. 1 down for Brad Miller, the shortstop. 6-8, and that's a 1 for a single. Anything else, he grounds to first on a fielder's choice. And he does. It's a 3-6 fielder's choice, so the new runner is Miller. As Goldschmidt was able to throw it to shortstop, but Owens relayed not in time. Out goes 3-6. Miller at first base. B stealer, so he will have to be held on. And Zunino is the batter. 6-10, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's going to go to Chris Owens. He's a 4, so this could get through. 4 and a 1, it will get through for sure. Should be 2 stars on top of it. 4 and a 1 is a single 2 stars, so that will move runners to the corners. 2 down, or yes, 2 outs, and runners are at the corners. So Zunino coming through with some hits. And it's going to bring up Montgomery now. It's kind of early to pinch hit for Montgomery, although you do need runs. Boy, what do you do here? You know what? They're going to pinch hit for Montgomery. They need runs. Montgomery's not pitching well. It's his first game back after a while of not playing, so They are going to make the move to the bullpen, or to the pinch hitter and then to the bullpen. So Logan Morrison is going to pinch hit for Seattle. And it'll be a short day for Montgomery. And again, this is where they probably would not have taken Montgomery out had we had the DH, but we do have the DH. So extra strategy involved there. And you got to make that decision what you want to do with your pitcher. And they've made that decision. Since they're down 3-1, they're going to pull him. Morrison on the replay is hitting .265, 3 homers, 11 driven in. He would normally have started, but they wanted Trumbo to get the first base call against his former mates. So Morrison will still get the chance. Runner on first, Zunino not being held. That's a 3-7, and that is a single. There's a clutch there, but this is advanced, not super advanced, so clutch has no effect. So the single is good. Zunino will stop at second, but the Mariners now, a pinch hit single from Logan Morrison, so at least on the surface, it looks like a good move. Cuts the lead to 3-2, and now we're back to the top of the order for Austin Jackson. 5-8, and that's a ground ball to second base. X, that is Gosselin, who is a 3. 3 and a 3, that might get through. Second base, 3 and a 3 is a single. It's only 1 star, though, so the bases will now be loaded. Bases are loaded on the single by Austin Jackson. Gosselin knocked it down but couldn't make a play. And now the bases are loaded for Seth Smith with 2 outs. 6-10, and that's a ground ball shortstop X, so we're looking at Owings. Owings is a 4. 4 and a 3, that's going to get through for a base hit. 4 and a 3, single 2 stars, so 2 more runs will score with runners at the corners. And Seattle has grabbed a 4-3 lead, and perhaps pinch hitting triggers this whole thing. Mr. Morrison, if they had let the pitcher stay in there, probably none of this would be going on. Now you got runners at the corners and 2 down for Robbie Cano, and Hellickson on the ropes now. 4-3 game. He's not tired yet, but he's getting close. Runner at first, Seth Smith. Not going to be held on. He's not very fast. Hellickson trying to get that elusive third out. 2-5, 1-14. He might not get it. 1-14 is a single. And it is a single, so another run scores. It's actually going to be 4 runs this inning, so again, premature with the run totals. So let's white this out and come back to it. Right now we know it's 4 runs for Seattle, so they lead at 5-3 as Robbie Cano gets the base hit and Nelson Cruz is coming up. So Nelson Cruz, the batter, all this with 2 outs. Hellickson, they're going to stick with him one more time, one more batter. Although with the lefty Seager coming up, I do believe they do have Oliver Perez ready in the bullpen. 4-12 against a right-hander. Ground ball first base X. Now this one, they might have a better chance because Goldschmidt is a 1. And a 15, that should take care of it. Double check it. Just to make sure 1-15 goes to the error check. I was staying corrected. Goldschmidt's an E5. E5 and a 7 for a first baseman. E5 and a 7 is a ground ball A, so it's a good play. And Seattle will have to settle, in air quotes, for 4 runs as they take it to Mr. Hellickson. His day may be done because he's set to bat third this inning, so I'm sure his day is done. And boy, Seattle coming back with a vengeance, takes the lead. And we need a new pitcher for the Mariners now. So let's see how they want to play it. Coming up for the Diamondbacks is Hill, Gosselin, and a pinch hitter for Hellickson. So at least 2 of them are right-handed. So the Mariners will go to a righty out of the bullpen. And we need to see who's the most rested. Let's take a look here. It's going to be Danny Farquhar. Right-hander Danny Farquhar will be on for the Mariners. On the replay, Farquhar is 0-1 with a 6.08 ERA, 13 innings pitched, 17 hits, 7 walks, 12 strikeouts. So it's his duty to try to keep that lead going here in the early innings. I'm sure he wasn't expecting to pitch in the 4th inning, but here he is. And he's facing Aaron Hill. 3-5, and that's a leadoff walk. Last thing you want to do is start walking, guys, and he did it. So Aaron Hill, although it wasn't his fault, it was off Aaron Hill's card. Aaron Hill's aboard, and that brings up Phil Gosselin. Aaron Hill will be held as a B stealer, so he will have to be held. 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X, potential double play. Cano is a 3. 3-10, though, is going to go to error check, and he's an E6. E6 and a 7 for a second baseman. E6 and a 7 is a ground ball A, and that's going to do it. 4-6-3 double play, wipes the bases clean. Nice play by Cano and Miller to turn the double play. 4-6-3, 2 quick outs, bases clear for the pitcher Hellickson. But now we need a pinch hitter because Hellickson's day is done. And even though there's 2 outs, bases empty, you still don't want to. Still not going to let him hit. So Jake Lamb coming on to pinch hit for the Diamondbacks. Get the numbers on Lamb. He is hitting a .143, no homers, 8 runs driven in, and 98 at bats. Definitely a disappointing season for Lamb on the replay. He did hit 6 home runs and hit .263 on the real season, so he's definitely underperforming. Farquhar to Lamb, 4-12, and that is a ground ball to second to end the inning. So Farquhar does his job, keeps the Diamondbacks at bay. And at the end of 4, it is 5-3 Seattle, and now we need a new pitcher for Arizona. And coming up for the Mariners, it'll be Seager, Trumbo, and Miller. 2 out of 3 are left-handed. So the Diamondbacks will go to Oliver Perez out of the pen, a lefty. Farquhar can pitch multiple innings, so he will come back and pitch for the Mariners, assuming they don't get to a spot in the batting order. Oliver Perez, your new pitcher. And on the season, he is 1-0 with a 1.10 ERA, 16 innings pitched, 15 hits, 3 walks, and 14 strikeouts. So pretty good replay so far for Mr. Perez. He will be coming on, but he's not used to pitching in the 5th inning. He's usually coming in the 7th or 8th inning, but situation has dictated otherwise. Here's Seager. That's a 6-10, and let me check the injury check for Mr. Perez, because that could be in his error or his injury range. Anytime I roll a 6 with a high number, it's potentially damaging to the pitcher. Perez, let's see where what his number is here. Perez. It's a 2, which is 6-11, so he just missed it. 6-11 would be his injury check. Instead, we got a 6-10 against a lefty. That's a ground ball to second for out number 1, so he escapes right there. Ground out, 1 away. Just avoided injury. And now former teammate Mark Trumbo, the batter. 5-3, and that's a fly ball left field X, left fielder. Tomas is a 4. 4 and a 9 probably goes to an error check. It does. Tomas's error rating is an E9. E9 and a 7 for an outfielder. E9 and a 7 is a fly ball B, so he was able to make that play for out number 2. And that brings up Brad Miller, another lefty-on-lefty matchup. That's why Perez is in there. 4-8, and he struck him out. So Oliver Perez, a fine top of the 5th, keeps his team in the game. That's going to be all for Perez. He's more of a one-inning guy, so he did his 1 inning and did his job well. And now we go to the bottom of the 5th. Farquhar back out. We'll be facing the top of the order, Peralta. Let me mark off Perez here. Peralta, Owings, and Goldschmidt. 5-3 Mariners in the bottom of the 5th. Make sure that we got focus here. Might have gotten out of focus somehow. I think it looks all right. Strat cards look a little, not too bad. Maybe it's just my eyesight. All right, so here is Peralta, bottom of the 5th, down 5-3. 6-8 for Farquhar, and I don't think that's going to be close to his injury check. Let's just double check it here. Farquhar, no, he's a 6-12, so no problems there. 6-8 against a lefty, it struck him out. So again, no problems because he gets the strikeout of Mr. Peralta. 1 down for Chris Owings. 4-6. That's going to be a walk. So a 1-out walk to Chris Owings. A 1-out walk to Mr. Owings. And that will bring up Goldschmidt. Owings will be held on because he is an A stealer. Farquhar 1-5 to Goldschmidt. 1-8's a home run that would tie the game. It'd be his 2nd home run of the game for Mr. Goldschmidt. 1-5 will do, or 1-8 will do it. It's a 12 though. It's going to be a double. So the double is assumed to go to center field. There is 1 out, so there's every advantage you would think to try to score the run from first base, but we'll do the calculations and find out if he can score. Jackson has a 0 arm. Owings was being held. He runs at a 15, being held makes him a 14, and a 0 arm. So it'll be a 1-14 if they want to try it. They are down by 2. Ooh, do you try it or not? You do have Pollock and Tomas coming up. 1-14 is pretty good odds, though. So they're going to send him 1-14. And he's in there, so he does score from first base on the double from Mr. Goldschmidt. The lead is cut now to 5-4. And here comes Pollock. Goldschmidt being held on second. 4-7, and that's ground ball second base X, so we know Goldschmidt's going to get to third at a minimum. Second baseman Cano is a 3. Whoops. Would help if I could get the D20 to fly right. Cano is a 3. That's an 11, so it's going to go to his error check. Cano is an E6. E6 and a 9 for a second baseman. E6 and a 9 is a ground ball A, so that is a good play. 2 down. Goldschmidt will take third on the play, but now there are 2 away. And it's going to be up to Tomas if the D-backs want to tie this game. Run on third, 2 outs. Farquhar trying to get through 2 innings. 1-8, and he won't do it. That's a single 2 stars, so tie ball game. We are tied at 5 apiece as Tomas gets the big base hit. Farquhar is now tired, but he is scheduled to bat second next inning, so they kind of want to see if they can sneak him to get past this third out. So they're going to leave him in there at least to give him one more chance. Tomas will be held. He's a C stealer, so he will be held. 2-9, and that's a strikeout. So he strikes out Castillo to end the inning, but damage done by the Diamondbacks, and we got a tie game tied 5-5 after 5. How's that for enumeration? 5 and 5 for 5th inning. So we go to the top of the 6th, and we need a new pitcher for Arizona because Perez is a 1-inning pitcher. So they're going to bring in somebody else. It'll be Zunino, a pinch hitter for Farquhar, and Jackson. So at least 2 of the 3 are right-handed. So they're going to the bench for a right-hander. And it will be David Hernandez. So Hernandez, the right-hander, coming on. And we'll get the numbers on Hernandez as soon as I bring him in on the computer. No double switches, I don't believe. They will just go with Hernandez for right now. He's 0-0 with a 1.86 ERA, 10 innings pitched, 8 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. So pretty well. No saves, but good numbers otherwise. Zunino, talk about good numbers. He's had a couple of hits that has raised his average up to $1.30. He's 2 for 2 on the game. He was around 105, I think, when the game started. So here's Hernandez to Zunino. 6-5, struck him out. So Zunino not so lucky this time. 1 down, and now we need a pinch hitter for Seattle. And they've used their only lefty. They do have a switch hitter in Ketel Marte, and that's where they're going. He's actually a former Diamondback as well. So Ketel Marte will be on. Switch hitter, utility player. Get the numbers on Marte. Ketel Marte is hitting .303 and 33 at bats. No homers and 1 run driven in. So Ketel Marte. 2-5 against the righty. And that's a single. So Ketel Marte, a pinch hit single. Gets things going for the Mariners. He is a B stealer, so they have to hold him. Can't just give up a free base by leaving him alone out there. You got to hold him on. And we're back to the top of the order, and Austin Jackson with 1 out. 3-8 for Jackson. Struck him out. 2 down. He continues to struggle in that leadoff spot. They're going to have to find another leadoff hitter because he's just not getting it done. And here's Seth Smith. Seth Smith, 5-2 against the lefty against Hernandez. The ground ball first base X. That is Mr. Goldschmidt, who is a 1. 1-18 is good all day long, but we're going to call it a 3-1 put out as he flips to Hernandez covering, since it is a X chance. And we need to go to the bottom of the 6th. Still score tied at 5. Hernandez's day is done because he's going to get pinch hit for. So he did his 1 inning of work. Now Seattle needs relief as they pinch hit for the pitcher Farquhar. Coming up for the Diamondbacks, it is going to be Hill, Gosselin, a pinch hitter. So at least 2 of those are right-handed. So they will go to the right-hander out of the pen. And by the name of Tom Wilhelmsen. So Wilhelmsen is on. He is 0-0, no saves, a 2.63 ERA, 14 innings pitched, 9 hits, 12 walks, and 11 strikeouts. So first we had Farquhar, and now we move on to Tom Wilhelmsen. Facing Hill, Gosselin, and a pinch hitter. They don't have any lefties on the bench any longer, so it looks like Pacheco may be picking up a bat for the Diamondbacks to hit off the bench. He's one of their backup catchers, but they also have Gosowich as a backup catcher, so they feel like they're okay to use him. So it's going to be Hill, Gosselin, and Pacheco due up for the Diamondbacks here in the bottom of the 6th, tied at 5 as they face Tom Wilhelmsen to lead off the bottom of the 6th. 1-8, and he's going to pop it to short, 1 away. Going to bring up Phil Gosselin. Gosselin 0 for 1 so far. 4-7 against Wilhelmsen. He's going to draw a walk. So the go-ahead run is on base. Now, if there was nobody out, you might bring in somebody like Drury that could be a better bunter, but with 1 out, you're not going to bunt, so they're going to go ahead and go with Pacheco as is. And Pacheco, get his numbers on the replay. Limited duty for Pacheco. Pacheco in just 29 at-bats has seen 276, no homers or runs driven in, but he only had 66 at-bats on the season, so he's pretty much closing in on his 1/3 usage limit. Wilhelms in 6-4, ground ball shortstop X. That's Brad Miller. Miller's a 3. 3-19, that's a ground ball A for a double play. It was Miller time after all. He makes the play. So Pacheco grounds into the 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. And we go to the top of the 7th. Still tied at 5. And we need a new pitcher for Arizona, as they've used a pinch hitter for Mr. Perez. They've used Hernandez and Perez. Let's see who they might want to bring in now. They're going to bring in somebody that can give them some innings, and that is former starter, turned reliever, Zach Godley. He had 6 starts, but he is rated as a 4 reliever, and since they just pinch hit for the pitcher, it'll be a while before his spot comes up in the order, so they want somebody who can give them some innings, and Zach Godley is the guy. He's already made a lot of starts, or a couple of starts, so not really in a position to... He's already made 1/3 of his starts. He started 6 games on the real season. He's already started 2 in this replay, so he's done on the starts. He's now strictly a reliever, so he will be coming on, and we'll get the numbers on Godley. He's 1-0 with a 3.46 ERA, 13 innings pitched, 11 hits, 5 walks, and 12 strikeouts. And he's going to be facing Cano, Cruz, and Seager. Now, there are a couple of lefties, but they want to save their lefty chafing for later in the innings, later in the game when they need one particular guy to get out, but they need innings. They need somebody to eat some innings because they've already gone to the bullpen early. So it's Godley to Cano. 1-8 for Cano. Grounds to second, 1 away. Easy play for Gosselin. 1 down for Nelson Cruz. 1-5 for Cruz. That's a straight-up home run from Nelson Cruz. Wow, he just greeted Zach Godley with that blast. And the Mariners now lead it 6-5. Boy, the fans just groaned on that one. Here's Kyle Seager. 4-9, and that's a walk. And again, Tabletop Earl used to say the most often result coming after a home run was a walk. And by the way, I did see that he is retired finally from the Postal Service, so congratulations to him. Happy retirement, Mr. Earl. Look, hopefully, I'd like to see you do some more videos and come back. I miss your videos, you and both Earls, really. So, but I mean, he may be on to other things and not want to do YouTube anymore. So it's up to him. He'll pop up once in a while. It's always a treat when he does. Here is Mr. Trumbo. Now the runner on first, Seager, will not be held. He's a D-stealer. 4-8, and that's a walk. So Godley has walked 2 in a row after that home run, so he's getting a little tentative with the strike zone. And that's going to bring up Brad Miller, a lefty. And boy, they may have to go to the lefty out of the bullpen to stay in the game. I don't know. They're going to give Godley another chance. 1-6, and look at this. 1-9 is a home run. He brought a lefty and it would have been just a single, but this is a home run or a potential double, one or the other. 1-9 is a 3-run homer. It's a 13, so it'll be a double. We know 1 run will score automatically. Don't know about Trumbo, who's a trail runner. He doesn't run too well, so with 1 out, they're going to hold him up. He does not get the 2-out boost. It'll be a double, RBI double, off the bat of Kyle Seager. And now the infield's going to have to come in for Mike Zunino. And then a pinch hitter for Wilhelmsen will be due up next. It looks like Justin Ruggiano has picked up a bat for Seattle. Infield is in. They can't afford to give up any more runs. 1-7, ground ball to third. That's going to hold the infield with the A. Let's look at the chart. Ground ball A. Infield in. Runner on third holds, other runners out. Nobody can advance because there's nobody forced to advance. So it's just a ground ball to third base, and everybody has to hold. And now we got a pinch hitter coming up. And And it'll be Justin Ruggiano. There's not a whole lot left on the Seattle bench, quite honestly. They have Sucre, Ruggiano, and Gutierrez. Gutierrez is a little bit better hitter. Actually, you know what? They're not going to do Ruggiano. They're going to Gutierrez. He's the better hitter, average-wise, so that's who they're going to. Plus, Ruggiano can play center, so they want to leave him on the bench in case they need a defensive replacement. But frankly, Gutierrez will be the batter. Pinch hitter. On the replays, hitting a $179, no homers and 1 driven in, but on the season he had 292. So that's why he's in there, trying to get that big 2-out hit to break this game open. 2 runs are already in. It's 7-5. And Godley trying to prevent any more damage. 3-3. Hit by pitch plus injury, so Gutierrez might be on the shelf again. He's had injury problems in the past, and they may well up again on him. So let's go to our injury chart. For batters, he needs a 1-4 to stay in the game. 5-6, he'll just miss the remainder of this game. 7 or higher, he's going to miss some time. Whoops, let's put it through the chute. It's an 11, so he's going to miss this game plus 2 more. So Franklin Gutierrez will be lifted, and Justin Ruggiano will have to pinch hit for him, or pinch run for him. So they're going to lose both Gutierrez and Ruggiano because they need a pinch runner. So he's going to be out of there. He does get the hit by pitch to load the bases. But then they have to pinch run for him with Ruggiano, which leaves Sucre as the only position player on the bench. So Gutierrez is out of there. He's out of the game, but the runner is on first in his stead. Bases are loaded, 7-5. Godley trying to get out of this mess, facing the struggling Austin Jackson. 5-6, and that's trouble Will Robinson. He is a weak power, but a 1-4 is a grand slam. Would have been a grand slam home run to be a 2-run single. 5-20 will be a double that could clear the bases. It is a 2, so it'll be a single 2 stars. That'll score 2 more runs. And we got a 4 spot again for Seattle. And that's going to be it for Mr. Godley. He was not the answer, obviously. They wanted him to eat some innings, but it's just not working out. And we got the 9th man to bat in the inning, Seth Smith, coming up. So they want a lefty out of the bullpen, which is going to be Chafin. So Godley will leave, and Chafin will come on. But I think the horses are already out of the barn at this point. So it may be just a futile exercise. But it's 9-5 Dolly Parton time. And so they got to take him out now, I guess. I'm sure it's too late. Chafin, 0-0, 3.38 ERA, 13 innings pitched, 11 hits, 3 walks, and 12 strikeouts. Facing Seth Smith, lefty on lefty. 3-9 against the lefty, struck him out. So Seth Smith is out of there to end the inning. Seattle sends 9 to the plate, 4 of them score. And it was a profitable top of the 7th for the Mariners as they lead it 9-5 Dolly Parton style. And as we look at their bullpen and see who's going to be coming in to pitch in this bottom of the 7th. While they figure that out, we'll also be going to the 7th inning stretch. We'll be right back for the 7th inning stretch. Okay, coming back for the bottom of the 7th, Joe Beimel is the new Seattle pitcher. Has also been a double switch. Seth Smith made the final out. He's not a very good defender in left field. Ruggiano is. So Ruggiano will stay in the game, bat 9th, and play left field. And Joe Beimel will take over as the pitcher, hitting in the number 2 hole, as Cano's will lead off next inning. So it'll be a while before we get to the pitcher. But it also affords Seattle a better defender in left field, as instead of Seth Smith and his 4 rating, you have Ruggiano and his 3 rating. So I guess accomplishes a couple of things there. And Peralta will lead off the bottom of the 7th. But before we get going, it is the 7th inning stretch. So I'm going to stand up and stretch for the 7th inning stretch. All right, seventh inning stretch is in the books. Joe Beimel is in the game. Be facing Peralta to lead things off. Beimel on the replay, 0-1 with the one save, a 1.08 ERA. 8 innings pitched, 9 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. Lefty on lefty with Peralta, 4-4. Ground ball third base X, that's Seager. He's a 2. 2 and a 13 might be an error check for a third baseman. 2 and a 13 is an error check. Error check on Seager, he's an E16. Could be trouble. E16 and a 3 for a third baseman. An E16 and a 3 is a one base error, so E5. E5 on Seager. First error of the game for either team. And Peralta is aboard. He will have to be held. He will not go anywhere down by 4, but they just don't want to give him a base, so they will hold him on. And Chris Owings, the shortstop. Is due up against Beimel. 1-5, and that's a 1-5 triple. Anything else, he will fly to left. That is a fly to left, so boy, Beimel escaped that one. Could have been danger right there, but he gets away with it. Now he's got to go through the heart of the order. Goldschmidt and Pollock. Could bring in a right-hander here, but Beimel's pitching so well, I think he's going to stick with him. 6-4, and boy, 6-3 would have been a home run, but 6-4 is just a fly to left, so again, he escapes what could have been disaster. But Beimel must apparently is living right. 2 down for A.J. Pollock. 5-2 is another fly to left. So 3 straight flyouts to left field, and they get out of the inning. Wow. Arizona missing golden opportunities right there. Andrew Chafin is a multiple inning pitcher. Even though he's a lefty, he is a multiple inning pitcher. He does have ratings for extra relief, so they're going to leave him in there. As Robinson, Cano, Cruz, and Seager, 2 out of 3 are left-handed. Score is now 9-5, Dolly Parton style as we start the 8th. Robbie Cano leads off. Cano 2 for 4 on the game with a double. 6-5, and that's another double. So his second double of the game. He is now 3 for 5 as Robbie Cano. Certainly helped that average. And that'll bring up Nelson Cruz. 3-6 against a lefty is a single 2 stars. There's an omega there, but we're not doing super advanced, and it's not 2 outs. So it's a single 2 stars, and that will score the run. So it's now 10-5. And this one's definitely gotten away from the Diamondbacks for sure. Here's Seager. That's a 6-3 against a lefty. That's a ground ball second base A. It's a 4-6-3 double play. But that came one batter too late. 4-6-3 double play, but the run had already scored. So 2 outs, bases clear for Trumbo. 3-7, and that's he just missed a home run chance at 3-8. 3-7's a ground ball to short. It's going to end the inning, but another run comes in. It is now 10-5 in favor of Seattle. And that'll be it for Beimel. He's mostly a one-inning guy. That's it for Chafin as well. Both of them are now done. But we need a new pitcher for Seattle. And with a score like this at 10-5, they're going to go with Mr. Lowe, I do believe. Mark Lowe. A right-hander. Mark Lowe will be coming on. Facing Tomas, Castillo, and Hill. Let's get the numbers on Mark Lowe. He's 0-0 with a 1.98 ERA, 14 innings pitched, 13 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts. So very good relief pitcher is Mr. Lowe. Trying to hold a 10-5 lead. Tomas 4-5, and that's a straight-up home run chance, 1-3. Anything else would be a double. It's a double for Yosmani Tomas. He greets Mr. Lowe with a leadoff double. Not exactly what Seattle was looking for right about now. That'll bring up Wellington Castillo. 3-10 for Castillo. That's a single to left field, but with down by 5, you're just going to play station to station. So runners are at the corners. Nobody out for Aaron Hill. One 1-5 for Hill. It's a ground ball, second base C. That'll score the run. The runners will advance on the ground ball, so it is an RBI ground out. 4-3 for out number 1. Cuts the lead to 10-6 with a runner at second base and Phil Gosselin the batter. Chad Pennington has picked up a bat. He will pinch hit for the pitcher Chafin. 4-5, and that's an in-home run chance again. 4-20 for a double. 1-3 is a home run. It's a double for Gosselin. RBI double for Gosselin. And boy, Lowe is tired already. He was not the answer. And we're going to get a pinch hitter for Chafin. And coming on for the Diamondbacks, it'll be their switch hitter, Cliff Pennington. I think I said Chad Pennington, not a mistake. It's actually Cliff Pennington, the switch hitter. So it doesn't matter who you bring in relief, righty or lefty, because you've got the switch hitter coming up. And they will go to, Seattle will go to Carson Smith, a righty out of the pen. So let's get these into the computer. We got a pinch hitter, Cliff Pennington. And then we got the new pitcher, Carson Smith, taking Lowe's place. All right. On the season, Carson Smith is 1-0. No saves, 2.08 ERA, 13 innings pitched, 8 hits, 2 walks, and 20 strikeouts. In this 13 innings, he's got 20 strikeouts. Pennington only hitting a .167 with a homer and 4 runs driven in. But got a chance to do some damage right here. 4-12 is a fly to right. That's 2 down. And with a fly ball C, nobody can go anywhere. So the runner will hold at second base. Pennington is out of there. And back to the top of the order for Peralta. That's a 3-5. And look at this. Another run's going to score. That's going to be a 1-15 triple. 16-20 is a double. That's a triple for Peralta. So a 2-out triple for Peralta, and the lead is now cut to 10-7. Chris Owings the batter. Actually 10-8. It's been 3 runs this inning. I'm lost track of a run apparently when I was not counting over here, but it's 10-8 actually. 10-8, and a runner at third with 2 outs. I'm not going to write it in until the inning's over now. Chris Owings. 1-7, struck him out. Now the inning's over. Now I can write it in. A 3 spot for Arizona here in the 8th inning. It's a 10-8 ball game as we go to the 9th. 10-8 ball game. And we need a new pitcher for Arizona. It will be, they're out of lefties, so they don't have no option for left-handers. It will be Daniel Hudson, right-hander, because that's all they have left are right-handers. Even though Brad Miller will be coming up for the Mariners. So Hudson is in. That will leave Delgado and their closer Ziegler as the only 2 pitchers left. Seattle has Fernando Rodney, their closer. Didn't mark off Will Helmsen. They have Fernando Rodney, their closer, plus another lefty in Furbush at their disposal. Diamondbacks have Drury and Goswitch on the bench to pinch hit. Seattle only has Sucre as their pinch hitter. So Brad Miller will be up, followed by Zunino and Ruggiano, because Ruggiano, of course, came in on that double switch. So it'll be Miller, Zunino, and Ruggiano. Against Hudson. Hudson on the replay. Not very well. 0-0 with a 5.79 ERA, 14 innings pitched, 20 hits, 6 walks, 17 strikeouts. He's just trying to hold the fort at 10-8 if possible. 4-9 against the lefty. That's not a good start. 1-7's a double. That is a 9, so it's going to be a single for Brad Miller. Leadoff single, and the hit parade continues. We've had 16 hits by Seattle, 10 by Arizona. 26 hits and 18 runs in this game. So if you're looking for pitching, you're sadly mistaken. That's why these teams are down near the bottom of the standings, I guess. Here's Zunino. He is a B-rated bunter, would become a C bunter, but he's done well this game. He's gotten a couple of hits, so he's 2 for 4, so they're going to go ahead and let him swing. 1-3, he's going to hit a ground ball back to Hudson for a 1-4-3 double play, so maybe that was a bad mistake. Ground out on a 1-4-3 double play. Oh, Tabby, get out of here. I didn't even know she was over here. My bad. Hold on, let me get her out of here. Go, Tabby. And messed up everything, Tabby. She was on her perch. I didn't even know she was jumping over here. Inopportune time for that. All right, so 2 outs, base is clear for Ruggiano. 1-6, struck him out. The inning's over. So the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Boy, she's messed up my little thingy here, too. Tabby, you stay over there. All right, so Ruggiano down on strikes, and that's going to bring up the bottom of the 9th with a score of 10-8. It is a save situation. So we will see new pitcher for Seattle. We will see Fernando Rodney and see if he can shoot any arrows in the air and get his archery thing going. Fernando Rodney on the 2015 season had 16 saves. He was 5-5 with a 5.68 ERA, but did have 16 saves. So Rodney will be coming on. That will leave Furbush as the only guy in the bullpen remaining. And he's got to get a grown man save because he's got to deal with Goldschmidt and Pollock back-to-back. So not exactly an enviable chore. But that's why they pay him the big bucks to be the closer. So Paul Goldschmidt will lead things off. He's 2 for 4 with a double and a home run. 3 runs driven in. 6-9 on Rodney is a fly to right. I don't think that's going to be an injury check, though. I don't think his injury is that bad. But we'll look it up since it was a 6. I'll double check it. Fernando Rodney. Fernando Rodney, where are you? Fernando Rodney. He's a 12, 6'12", so yep, not a problem. 6-9 is a fly to right. Goldschmidt's retired, 1 down for A.J. Pollock. So good start for Fernando Rodney as he is looking to acquire save number 8 on the season. Here's Pollock. 6-7, and that's a 1-2 double. Anything else, he flies to center. That's a 1, so Pollock with a double. Pollock doubles, and the tying run is at the plate in the form of Yasmani Tomas. Yasmani Tomas. Pollock will be held at second. 2-5, and that's a strikeout. Big strikeout there to get from Rodney. And that'll then send up Wellington Castillo, last chance for the Diamondbacks. They don't have anything on the bench, really. Drury and Ghostwitch, not much to speak of on the bench. So, and they got to hold Drury in case they get to the pitcher spot. So here's Castillo. 4-8, and that's a ground ball to short. That's going to do it. Miller will flip over to Trumbo to end the ball game. And the Mariners survive a wild one here in Arizona. As the total line score, it is 10 runs, 16 hits, and 1 error for Seattle. 8 runs, 11 hits, and no errors for Arizona. We'll get the totals, the final box score, as I'll let the computer take care of all of this. And we'll get the totals for you. All right, left on base. That's always interesting to look at. 8 and 7. Mariners left 8. Diamondbacks left 7. Winning pitcher was Carson Smith. I'm sorry, no, it was Tom Wilhelmsen. He was pitching when they took the lead, so he gets his first win of the year. He's 1-0. The loss goes to Zach Godley. He's 1-1. And Fernando Rodney gets save number 8 on the season. Home runs on the game, Nelson Cruz is 5th and Paul Goldschmidt his 9th. With that victory, the Mariners are now tied the Diamondbacks. They're both standing at 17-20 after 37 games. But they're a far cry from the playoffs right now unless one team really gets hot over the other. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of the Strat-O-Matic Demolition League. Kind of a wild, high-scoring affair. 18 runs and 27 hit totals. And the Mariners survived 10-8 after being behind 3-1 after 3. They survived 4 in the 4th and 4 in the 7th. Do it. And they were up 10-5, but they survived a 3-run inning by Arizona in the 8th and held on to win it by the score of 10-8. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And as usual, I will see you all down the road.